How's it going, everybody? Welcome to week 3 intro. That song my wife picked out, so you can thank her for that tune. Anyways, I think she was trying to make a joke out of this, but whatever. I hope you're doing well, and welcome to CS2304 this week. In this week's recap, we're gonna do a little bit of going over the poll results from last week, but also just go through the hands-on, at least the questions part of things. Because there were a couple of things that I saw that were common mistakes or whatnot, so I just want to help clear those up before we go too much farther. So we'll jump into our slides, and we've got a nice little comic from Dilbert here. Give you a second to read that. And I think in many ways that's how a lot of executives kind of work. It's just like you just throw out buzzwords and things just automatically get much better and whatnot, but doesn't really work out that way, and Kubernetes is certainly one of those. But anyways, so hopefully you got a little laugh out of that. But anyways, and I just recognized that it says week 2 assignments. I forgot to update that, but oh well. So week 3 assignments, I'm still gonna have them due on Sunday, and we'll see why here in just a second. But we'll have another hands-on this week and just another little poll, and kind of keep that rhythm going for a little bit. All right, so speaking of just due dates and whatnot, I threw this out there, and pretty much overwhelmingly positive results that everybody wants it still due Sunday. So I'll keep it on that. Again, just recognize I will probably not be providing assistance on Sunday. So if you anticipate that you might need help, feel free to start earlier in the week. I can still watch, the discussion thread and that kind of stuff, but my Sundays are pretty busy as they are, and I try to leave time to spend with family and that kind of stuff too. So anyways, I'll keep them due on Sunday. This was just kind of a fun one because I'm experimenting with using music and that kind of stuff. I've thrown around the idea of doing like a YouTube channel and sharing some of this stuff for others as well. And so I've thought about doing background music, but it's a good thing to know that for most people it didn't even notice it or whatnot. If for those 3 that did find it distracting, if it becomes too distracting, let me know, and I'll definitely tune it back or even just remove it if it becomes a problem. So just let me know. This was just kind of a fun question to see who went to the VT-UNC football game. Quite a few, is almost half and half that went. If you went, I bet it was just a crazy time. I didn't get to go, but I watched it, and yeah, what a good game. So anyways, all right. At this point, let's jump over to the Canvas, and I'm going to pull up the poll, or not the poll, sorry, the quiz from last week. So the hands-on, all that kind of stuff, hopefully that went pretty well for you guys. This first one I'll skip, and I recognize that there were a couple people that had trouble with it because maybe they were not using Docker Desktop, and that's fine, and I'll give those points back, so don't worry too much about that. So what is a shortened flag that will get objects across all namespaces? Now, if we actually, let's see, I'm going to pull up a terminal here, and where's my terminal button? There it is. Okay. If we look at kubectl get, and I just realized that that's not getting the right window here. 1 second. Let me capture the right window here. There we go. Now you can see it. All right, so if I do a kubectl get -- help, it'll give me all of the flags that I can look at. Okay, so -- all - namespaces will give me all the namespaces, and if I go back to wrong window here, there we go. So -- all was one of the options, but if it were all namespaces, that would be a valid flag, but it's not one of the shortened one. That's a long flag. So if we look at the terminal, -A is the shortened flag for all namespaces. Okay, so back on the quiz, -A, capital A is the answer here. So notice it's not 2 dashes, and a common pattern that you see, especially with a lot of CLIs, is -- is going to be for a longer flag, where it's going to be written out in words, and then a single dash will be for a shortened, just single letter flag. And so there you go there. Okay, what is the shortened flag that will let us change the output format? So there's -O, -O, -output, and then I guess that one didn't render right, so my bad there. If we look at the command line output, we can see -O lets us change the output format, as well as -- output. Now -- output is the longer version, it's not the shortened flag. So if I look at these, just the single -O is the right option there. Okay. Which of the following are specified? I'm not going to go through that one because that one was mostly just looking at it and stepping through, right? And I think pretty much everyone got that one right, so not going to worry about that one. Version 2.0 of the cat's image displayed dogs, because personally I think dogs are better than cats, and so the 2.0 is dogs. You can define more than one object in a single manifest, and that is true, and you're going to see lots of examples of that throughout the semester, and if you continue on with Kubernetes. All right, so this last one, write a manifest that can be used to define a pod named My First App that uses the My First App image you built last week. Okay, now there were two common mistakes that I saw with this, and I'll go through it. Okay, I'm going to change this to pre-format it, and you're welcome to have written this in another document and copy paste it. That's fine. But in order to define a pod, the first thing I need to do is specify the API version, which is v1, and then the kind, which is a pod. Now, this asked me to create a pod that has a specific name, My First App. Now, the reason why I'm going to get you in the habit of naming things in a specific way, and I'm going to deduct points if you don't name it the right way, is because if you do decide to pursue this certification exam, those questions are going to specifically ask you, hey, create a service with this name, create a deployment with this name, or a pod with this name is having troubles, whatever. And so the very specific names are going to be very important. And if you don't name it right, you don't get that question. Now, in this class, for the most part, I'm going to give you partial credit for stuff. But if you take the certification exam, if you get it wrong, there's a good chance you won't get any points for that question. And so it's a pretty big deal. So get in the habit of make sure that you read the question completely. And then once you do it, you've got your manifest, read it again, and then make sure it maps to what you've written out. Okay. All right. So the next thing I need to do is I need to define my pod specification, and I'm going to have containers, and I'm going to have a single container. And in this case, the container name actually doesn't matter. I can name it whatever I want. I'm going to just name it app in this case. And then the image here, I'm going to use, since it asked for me to use the My First App image that we built last week, well, this is going to be mine. Now, so the two most common mistakes I saw with this were the pod was named incorrectly. So sometimes it was named app or first app or something different. And then the other was that you used my version of the My First App rather than the one that you built. Okay. So again, just make sure that you read the instructions and go from there. Now, once I've got this, I should be able to do a kubectl apply with this manifest and see in the output that a pod named My First App was created. And then I can do a kubectl get pods, and I'd see the pod show up. So again, pretty much everything you do, you should be able to apply it and then verify, did it work? So one, is the manifest valid? And then two, am I actually satisfactorily answering the question? Is the pod named right? Is the image named right, etc.? And that's how to do this one. So again, just make sure that you read the questions all the way through. And because while again, I'll give you partial credit, it will be important that you do it right in order to get the full points if you take the certification exam. Otherwise, yeah, we'll just kind of head into this week's material and let me know if you run into any questions along the way. Thanks. Bye. Oh, wrong button, but I'll clap too. See ya.